According to statistics, there are more trees on Earth than there are stars in the Milky Way. Today, there are an estimated 3 trillion earthly trees and only 400 billion Milky Way stars. Wow! I was not expecting that almost 10-to-1 win. Not gonna lie, these facts get me tree gazing. Smarty Pants have found there are glow-in-the-dark sharks. Zoinks! One of these Illuminati is called a kitefin shark and is nearly 6 feet long. The cells of these sharks' skin produce a soft blue-green light in the dark. I bet it's quite relaxing, except for it coming from a shark. For butterflies, it's impossible to not eat on the go. These insects use special sensors on their feet to get information about the plants and flowers they land on. Tasting their landing pads helps butterflies to decide whether they can chew on them or not. Horses can make faces at you, and a lot of them. Yep, they are amongst the rare creatures who can convey emotion with their snouts. While humans can convey 27 emotions, horses are capable of making 17 distinct facial expressions. They can use their facial muscles and features to alter their expressions and communicate. Brewed coffee is so cool. It's delicious, healthy, and makes you seem all hip and fancy. Nothing like that fake instant coffee, right? But there's a storm raging in paradise. Coffee sucks the liquid out of your body, since it's a diuretic, which in turn makes your skin dull and wrinkled. Oh no! Surprisingly, the instant coffee I've just been bashing here comes in handy. It contains less caffeine and is kinder to your skin. While we're on the topic of coffee, regular coffee drinkers swallow about 140,000 pieces of insects per year. Big ooh! Big ooh! The good news is that most of those are harmless, if it's any consolation. I know, it's really not. Also, each of us eats about 50,000 plastic particles a year as well, and breathes in a similar amount at the same time on top of that. So maybe insect bits aren't the biggest problem after all. It's animal facts time. Reindeer's eye color changes. During the summer, reindeer tend to have golden brown pairs of eyes, while in the winter, they turn dark blue. This blue shift helps reindeer to see better in the darker winter months. Axolotls, a Mexican salamander species, have quite a superpower. They can regrow missing limbs, tails, and even parts of their brain or heart. They can also make brand new connections in their brain to enable the use of paralyzed limbs again. Even Superman, and probably every human, would be jealous of that. Think with your heart, they say. Well, shrimp actually do. The heart of a shrimp is located at the bottom of its head, also called the thorax. Smarty Pants shrug and say, it's safer that way. Shrimp also have an open circulatory system, which means their organs float freely in fluid inside their bodies. Kinda gross, but I still eat them. So it's 218 BC and ancient Rome is engaged in a heated kerfuffle with the African city-state of Carthago, aka Carthage. It's late October and partly cloudy, and little does anyone know that Carthago has a big trick up its sleeve: war elephants, marched all the way from Africa, through Spain and France, and across the Alps. Just picture this. You're a sheep herder 2,200 plus years ago. It's a boring day like any other. Suddenly, you hear the loudest sound you've ever heard in your life, and you see 40 elephants stomping through your little village in the Alps. You go home and try to explain what you've just seen to your squeeze. You say they were big and gray and had horns on their face. She doesn't believe you and berates you for drinking on the job. And you'll never see anything like that ever again. Craziest day in the life of an ordinary alpine sheepherder. The ocean is awfully polluted with plastic, and many sea dwellers have been forced to adapt to their plastic-strewn neighborhoods. For example, hermit crabs and octopi have started living in plastic cups instead of in proper shells. Luckily, there are special divers whose entire job is relocating these little guys to new homes. Sometimes, a picky octopus will shuffle through 3 or 4 shells before finally settling on a winner. Consider this from the octopus's perspective. A giant alien shows up with a bunch of different houses and won't go away until you move out of your old crappy apartment, helps you move into nicer digs, and then just leaves. Actually, kind of sounds like a weird game show. What can save you from nasty leg cramps? Simple, bread. It's high in electrolytes. When your body doesn't get enough of these essential nutrients, it can cause muscle spasms. So, make a sandwich or some toast. Celebrities may often seem otherworldly, but some of their daily routines might get you thinking. Take Robert Downey Jr., for instance, aka Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. He tries to do all his most important work within the first few hours of waking up, so no checking Instagram first thing. This routine helps him to be more focused in the morning instead of sluggish or drowsy. This strategy will also be a hit with the not-so-early birds, as he's not a morning person either. Another example is Jim Carrey. We all love the guy, but his morning rituals are as unorthodox as he is. He rings himself on the phone every day at 11 a.m., pretending it's someone he knows well from the past, calling to tell him some news. The idea is to get the creative juices flowing and explore a new perspective. I'd try it myself sometime, but I always seem to send me to voicemail. Oh, you feel like a precious little snowflake? Well, sorry to burst your bubble or melt you, snowflake, but a tomato has more genes than a human. Yeah, this vegetable has more than 30,000 genes, compared to people whose genes number up to 25,000. Humans do have roughly the same amount of genes as a worm, though. Well, after a self-esteem booster like that, I think I'll be retiring for the night. If you think walking is a pretty mundane and uninteresting activity, you might want to think that through again. It turns out that adult humans use up to 200 different muscles taking just one step. Also, the pressure on your feet is equal to about 3 to 4 times your body weight during each step while running. One small step for you, one big leap for us all knowing cooler and cooler trivia facts. Believe it or not, rats really do laugh when tickled. It's just that our human ears can't hear it, but special microphones can detect their ultrasonic squeaks and giggles. Rats are most ticklish on their backs and stomachs, but they have to be in a good mood to enjoy it. Caught in that good mood, a rat will even chase your hands around for more tickling after you stop. Another bewildering discovery is that the human stomach can digest razor blades. Kinda, if you chew well enough. Kidding. Do not chew razor blades. Our stomach fluids are so acidic they can break down some metals. In 24 hours of digestion, most razor blades will become so fragile they'll start dissolving. It wasn't tested on actual people, though, so you definitely should not try this at home, or school, or work, or really ever. Seriously, just don't. Movies and tales from the Middle Ages sometimes depict women as fragile, defenseless victims left to the mercies of men. Where are they getting their history and facts from? Because that's totally not the case here. The truth is, sometimes women of that time were left to manage and run their property while their husbands left home for business, for war, or for court. In this case, ladies were in charge of defending their homes, land, property, and oh yeah, their kiddos too. They could have to fight off an attack from an enemy army, stave off robbers, or handle invasions of landless knights. And though women were not given knightly titles, they could often fight just as well as men. Don't know about you, but I'd rather face a ravenous dragon than my mother after 15 missed calls from her. You versus a kangaroo in a foot race. Who wins? Not to be the bearer of bad news, but kangaroos can run at speeds up to 44 miles per hour, while the fastest human, Usain Bolt, only runs at up to 27.78 miles per hour. Not to be rude, but you most definitely are not Usain Bolt. So are kangaroos just built better than us humans? Not if we talk about our genomes. Human and kangaroo DNA share some undeniable similarities. Turns out, we also share an ancestor from about 150 million years ago. Despite divergent evolutionary paths, kangaroos still share some sentiments with their distant cousins, us. Research shows that kangaroos try to communicate with humans and ask for help by pointing in different directions. This same behavior is also associated with domesticated animals, like dogs, who point with their heads, not their fingers, which they don't actually have. But it would be kind of weird if they did. Koalas aren't hurried animals, yet they accomplish everything. But really, why rush? It turns out these lovely creatures have been around for quite some time, at least 30 million years to be exact. But they've only been a distinct species since after Australia became a separate continent, which means, most likely, koalas have only ever lived there. Over those 30 million years, it's assumed there have been several different species of koalas. I want one for my birthday, guys. Don't know if it's legal, but just look at its adorable face. Elephants, however, are even more ancient. They're also one of the most resilient of animals. More than 300 different species have been walking the earth for 55 million years. The first known species is believed to have been pig-sized and lived in a swampy environment. I like the ones that can fly with their ears. Oh, that was just a cartoon. Well, I feel silly and disappointed. Harris's hawks are the only birds of prey on the planet who hunt in packs. They even do it very similarly to wolves, if wolves could fly. But this also means they're a lot more friendly with each other than other hawks are. For example, they love to stand on each other's backs or hold hands, their wings, for no reason. Quite a picture to behold, if you ask me. There's a knight in shining armor, and there is his nemesis, the Black Knight. But where did the Black Knight actually come from? Like many other things, from tournaments. Part of knighthood meant showing off both their skills and their lineage. Many noble families had brand colors and dyed their armor to match that. But of course, some knights wanted to participate incognito for one reason or another. That's where black armor came in handy, and hence the legend of the mysterious Black Knights.